The plasma torpedo hit Section C7, and Ensign Kowalski's helmet rolled across the bridge deck like a child's ball still containing his head. Captain Marcus Thorne watched the severed piece bounce off his tactical display, leaving a streak of crimson across the targeting grid. The bridge lights flickered. Emergency klaxons wailed their three-tone death song. Hull breach, Section C through F. Communications Officer Reeves called out, her voice steady despite the gore drifting past her station. Sealing blast doors. We've lost 43 crew. 43. Thorne's fingers found the armrest controls. The dreadnought Retribution shuddered as another wave of alien fire raked across her starboard hull. The impact threw him forward against his restraints. Engineering. Status report. Main engines at 60%. Captain. Reactor core is stable, but we're bleeding coolant from the tertiary lines. Chief Engineer Dalton's voice crackled through. Damaged speakers. I can give you full power for maybe 6 hours before we start cooking from the inside. The tactical display showed 27 red dots converging on their position. Enemy ships that moved wrong to fluid, to organic. Their weapons signatures defied every principle of physics Thorne had learned at the academy. Time to the second wave, he asked. 14 minutes, sir. 14 minutes to prepare for the next round of butchery. Thorne's thumb traced the emergency decompression toggle. Not yet, but soon. The alien ships flowed like mercury through space, their hulls rippling with bioluminescent patterns that hurt to look at directly. They didn't communicate, didn't respond to surrender offers. They simply killed, systematically and without pause, as they had for 3 months across 17 systems. Medical reports 68 wounded, 12 critical, Reeves continued. Sick B requests priority transport for negative. Thorne's voice cut through the bridge chatter. All personnel remain at stations. Medical teams treat wounded in plays. He'd made that calculation 17 times in the past 2 days. Moving wounded meant pulling crew from essential systems. Essential systems kept them alive. Simple mathematics. The bridge viewport showed the expanding debris field where the cruiser Defiance had been. Captain Morrison and 400 crew, now a cloud of frozen metal and organic matter. The aliens were already feeding on the wreckage, feeding their ships, extending tendrils to absorb the scattered remains. Captain, Weapons Officer Blake called from his console. We're down to 40% torpedo reserves. Plasma cannon efficiency is dropping. The containment fields are starting to fluctuate. How long can you maintain effective fire? Maybe 8 hours of sustained combat. After that, we're throwing rocks. The Retribution groaned around them. She was a Titan-class dreadnought, 2 kilometers of armored death designed to break enemy fleets. Now she was becoming a tomb, section by section. Contact on sensors, Blake reported. Enemy formation approaching from Sector 7-7-Mark-4. 12 ships. Heavy configuration. Thorne's jaw tightened. The aliens learned. Each wave came better coordinated, more precisely targeted. They adapted to human tactics in real time as if they were running calculations on human psychology itself. All hands, battle stations. This is not a drill. His voice echoed through the ship's corridors, reaching crew members who were already dead but whose bodies hadn't stopped moving yet. Prepare for engagement. The first alien ship opened fire at maximum range. Its weapons organic things that pulsed like arteries sent streams of coherent energy that punched through. Retribution's forward armor like paper. Deck plates buckled. Atmospheric processors screamed warnings. Thorne felt the ship's artificial gravity fluctuate as power systems redirected everything to structural integrity. Return fire. All batteries. Retribution's main guns thundered. Plasma bursts crossed the void, each shot containing enough energy to vaporize a city block. 2 alien ships died in brilliant flashes, their bioholes rupturing like burst organs, but the others kept coming. Hull breach, Section A12, Reeves announced. Emergency. Crews responding. Through the bridge's reinforced viewport, Thorne watched Petty Officer Yates floating in space, his environmental suit torn open by shrapnel. The man was still alive, clawing at the vacuum as his blood boiled in the cold. The alien ships were using him for target practice. Thorne looked away. Engineering. I need more power to the forward shields. Sir, if I divert any more power, we'll lose life support in the aft sections. How many crew in those sections? A pause. 116, sir. Mathematics again. 116 lives against the structural integrity that protected 800 others. The answer was obvious. Do it. The lights dimmed as power flowed forward. Somewhere in the AFT sections, men and women were drawing their last breaths. Oxygen recyclers falling silent. Temperatures dropping toward absolute zero. They would die quietly, professionally, at their posts. The alien formation wheeled around Retribution like predators circling wounded prey. Their ships moved in impossible patterns, folding space around themselves, appearing and disappearing in flashes of violet energy. Captain, we're receiving a transmission from the Stalwart, Reeves said. They're requesting immediate assistance. Their engines are down. Reactor containment is failing. The Stalwart was a heavy cruiser, 1,200 crew. On Thorne's tactical display, she showed as a dying red dot, adrift and helpless as 3 alien ships closed in for the kill. "Signal the stalwart," Thorne said. "Tell them to prepare for evacuation." "Sir, our shuttle bays are sealed. Hull damage made them inoperable." Thorne stared at the tactical display. The stalwart had maybe 10 minutes before the aliens reached her. His own ship was barely holding together. He could break formation, attempt a rescue that would expose Retribution to concentrated fire, lose both ships and all crew, or he could maintain position and watch 1,200 people die. "Send a message to Stalwart," he said. "Stand by. Help is coming." The lie tasted like copper in his mouth. On screen, the alien ships reached the Stalwart, her hull split open like a flower, atmosphere venting in brilliant jets. The emergency beacon cut to static. 1,200 more names for the casualty reports. "Second enemy wave incoming," Blake reported. 22 ships, approaching from multiple vectors. The battle pattern was becoming clear. The aliens would throw waves at them until Retribution ran out of ammunition, power, or crew, whichever came first. Time to wave impact. 7 minutes. Thorne's hand moved to his command console. Emergency protocols glowed amber and red, waiting for authorization. The sickbay decompression toggle, the reactor overload sequence, the life pod jettison command, tools for the endgame. "Medical update, sir. Reeves called 94 wounded now. Sickbay is requesting permission to move critical cases to the secondary medical bay. Negative. All personnel maintain current positions. Sir, without treatment, 36 of those wounded will die within the hour. 36 lives against crew efficiency. The mathematics never changed." "Understood. Maintain positions." The alien ship swept in like a plague swarm. Retribution's guns tracked and fired, each plasma burst lighting the darkness. Metal screamed, hull plates tore apart. The deck beneath Thorne's feet buckled upward as something massive punched through the ship's belly. "Direct hit to the starboard reactor assembly," engineering reported. "We're losing containment in generator 3. I need to vent the plasma before it goes critical." "What's the blast radius if it detonates?" "Sections H through M, sir. 240 crew." Thorne closed his eyes for exactly 1 second. When he opened them, the decision was made. "Vent the plasma. Emergency decompression of affected sections, sir. That will execute the order." Warning lights flashed throughout the ship. Blast doors slammed shut with the finality of coffin lids. Atmospheric alarms shrieked their last warnings to crew, who would never hear them. The starboard side of Retribution erupted in a controlled explosion, venting superheated plasma into space. The blast took 3 alien ships with it a reasonable trade. 240 crew members died instantly, their bodies flash frozen and flung into the void. Thorne watched their forms tumble past the bridge viewport like autumn leaves. "Plasma containment restored," engineering reported. "Reactor stable." "Casualties?" Thorne asked. "All crew in affected sections confirmed lost, sir. Confirmed lost." Clean clinical language for wholesale slaughter. Thorne preferred it that way. The remaining alien ships regrouped, their organic hulls pulsing with renewed aggression. They had learned something from the plasma vent. Their formation shifted, spreading wider, making themselves harder to catch with area weapons. They adapted, always adapting. Sir, Blake called out, "Alien ships are changing their attack pattern. They're targeting specific systems now: life support, artificial gravity, medical facilities, psychological warfare." The aliens had analyzed human behavior and identified the pressure points. They weren't just trying to destroy the ship. They were trying to break the crew's will to fight. It was working. "Captain," Chief Engineer Dalton's voice came through the speakers, strained and urgent. "I'm reading massive power fluctuations in the primary coolant system. The aliens must have damaged something critical. We've got maybe 2 hours before the reactor goes critical. 2 hours. Thorne looked at the tactical display, counted the remaining red dots. 43 alien ships still active, with more waves incoming. The mathematics were becoming impossible. "Can you stabilize it?" "Maybe, but I'd need to shut down non-essential systems. That includes life support to sections E through K." Sections E through K housed the wounded, the medical bays, the remaining crew quarters. "How many personnel?" 318, sir, including all medical staff and the worst wounded." Thorne's finger hovered over the decompression controls. 318 lives against a chance to keep fighting, against the possibility of lasting long enough to make their deaths meaningful. "Mathematics, Captain." Dalton pressed orders, sir. Through the bridge viewport, another alien wave appeared on the horizon. 60 ships this time, their bioluminescent hulls pulsing in synchronized patterns. They moved like a school of fish, each vessel responding to signals invisible to human sensors. Behind them, more contacts appeared on the edge of sensor range. 100 ships, 200, an endless stream of death flowing toward them across the void. Thorne's thumb settled on the emergency decompression toggle for sections E through K. "Engineering," he said, his voice steady as a machine. "Shut down. Life support 2 sections E through K. Emergency decompress on my mark." "Sir, that's on my mark." The alien ships accelerated toward them, weapons already charging for the next assault. Somewhere in Section E, Dr. Patel was trying to save the life of a 19-year-old gunner whose legs had been severed by shrapnel. In Section G, Chaplain Burke was giving last rites to crew members who would never see Earth again. In Section K, 97 wounded men and women waited for medical attention that would never come. All sections sealed and ready for decompression. Sir Thorne watched the alien ships grow larger on screen, beautiful, in their way. Organic death machines evolved specifically for killing. They felt no doubt, no guilt, no hesitation. They simply did what they were designed to do, just like him. Execute. The ship shuddered as explosive bolts triggered, venting 3 entire sections into space. Atmosphere rushed out in crystalline clouds, carrying with it anything not welded, down including people. Dr. Patel tumbled past the bridge viewport, her medical kit spilling its contents like confetti. Her mouth was open in a silent scream, her hands clawing at nothing. Behind her, medical gurneys spun end over end, their patients still strapped in place, frozen in final moments of agony. Thorne watched it all with the detached interest of a technician observing machinery. The reactor temperature dropped to acceptable levels. The ship's structural integrity improved. They gained perhaps 6 more hours of combat effectiveness. 318 crew members died to buy those 6 hours. Power levels stabilized. Engineering reported, "We're back in the green." Captain acknowledged. The alien ships opened fire again, their weapons carving molten trenches across Retribution's hull, but the ship held together. The crew remained at their posts. The guns continued firing. Mathematics in action. Sir Reeves called out, "We're receiving a priority transmission from Fleet Command. Put it through." Admiral Harrison's face appeared on the main screen, transmitted across impossible distances through quantum entanglement arrays. His image flickered with interference. The aliens were jamming even quantum channels now. Captain Thorne, status report. We're holding position. Admiral, sustained heavy casualties but maintaining combat effectiveness. Understood. New intelligence suggests the enemy fleet is converging on your position for a final push. We estimate 18 hours until their main force arrives. Can you hold that long? 18 hours. Thorne looked around his bridge, counted the surviving crew, looked at the damage reports scrolling across his displays, calculated ammunition reserves, power consumption, structural integrity. The mathematics said no, they would be dead in 12 hours, maybe less. Affirmative, Admiral. We'll hold the line. Another lie, but lies were just another tool now, like decompression toggles and reactor overrides. Harrison nodded grimly. Reinforcements are en route, but they won't reach you in time. Your sacrifice will be remembered, Captain. Harrison out. The transmission ended, leaving only the bridge lights and the distant rumble of alien weapons fire. Sir Blake said quietly, "New contacts on long-range sensors. The main alien fleet. Over 4,000 ships, 4,000. Thorne felt something that might have been laughter trying to escape his throat. He suppressed it with the same mechanical efficiency he'd used to kill his own crew. Time to contact, 16 hours, 18 minutes. Close enough to the Admiral's estimate. The aliens were punctual at least. All stations, this is the Captain. Thorne announced shipwide enemy reinforcements inbound. We have 18 hours to hold this position. All crew will remain at battle stations until relieved. End of message. He didn't mention that relief would never come, that in 18 hours they would all be dead or worse. The crew could do the mathematics themselves. Through the view. The alien ships circled closer, their organic hulls rippling with anticipation. They knew the endgame was approaching. They could smell victory the way sharks smelled blood. Thorne's hand moved to the final emergency protocol, the one he hadn't used yet. The reactor overload sequence. In extremis, he could detonate Retribution's power core, taking every alien to ship within 1,000 kilometers with them. A final calculation: how many alien ships could he kill with his remaining crew? How much damage could one dying dreadnought inflict on an invasion fleet? The mathematics were getting interesting again. Captain Reeves said, "We're receiving distress calls from 6 other ships in the battle group. They're all reporting critical damage, requesting assistance. 6 ships, maybe 30,000 crew members total. All dying, all asking for help that couldn't come." "Send standard response," Thorne ordered. "Stand by, help is coming." The same lie he'd told the stalwart. It was becoming easier each time. The bridge viewport lit up with the death of the battle Vengeance. Her reactor went critical, turning 2 kilometers of armored steel into a miniature star. The explosion vaporized everything within 500 kilometers. 3 alien ships caught in the blast, their organic hulls boiling away like tissue paper. "Acceptable trade ratio. Asterisk, sir," Blake reported, his voice hoarse from breathing recycled. "Smoke long-range sensors show the alien main fleet has accelerated. New ETA 14 hours 37 minutes. They were eager to finish this." Thorne couldn't blame them. The mathematics favored overwhelming force over prolonged attrition. Engineering status on the secondary reactor: "We're running hot. Captain, coolant loss is accelerating. I'm jury-rigging the tertiary circuits, but we're looking at cascade failure in maybe 10 hours. 10 hours until the ship's power core became a bomb they couldn't control." Thorne made another calculation. Better to detonate on his terms than theirs. The alien ships had learned to target specific systems now. Their latest barrage punched through Retribution's communications array, severing contact with the remaining fleet. The bridge fell silent except for the steady drip of coolant from a ruptured overhead line. That drip would drive most people insane within hours. Thorne found it soothing, regular, predictable. "Sir, we're getting internal communications from Deck 7, Reeves announced. "Crew reports alien boarding pods have breached the hull. They're requesting immediate assistance." Boarding action. The aliens wanted prisoners, or perhaps they simply enjoyed killing humans in close quarters. Thorne consulted his tactical display. Deck 7 housed the secondary armory and 43 crew members. "Seal Deck 7 emergency lockdown protocols." "Sir, our people are already dead," Thorne finished. "Seal the deck. Vent it, if necessary." Through the ship's internal sensors, he could hear the fighting. Plasma rifles discharging, men screaming. Something that might have been alien communication wet. Organic sounds like digestive processes. The sounds lasted 6 minutes and 18 seconds, then silence. "Deck 7 secure," Reeves reported. "No survivors. 43 more for the casualty reports." The numbers were becoming abstract now, easier to process without emotional weight. The alien boarding pods had been a probe, testing human response times, weapon effectiveness, psychological resilience. They were gathering data for the main assault, always learning, always adapting. "New contacts," Blake called out. 47 ships closing from starboard. 88 minutes. Another wave. Thorne checked his chronometer. They'd been fighting for 38 hours now. The crew was operating on combat stimulants and pure adrenaline. Half of them were walking wounded, blood seeping through emergency patches and improvised bandages. But they were still functional, still calculating firing solutions and damage reports with mechanical precision. "Captain," Chief Engineer Dalton's voice crackled through damaged speakers. "I'm reading massive structural stress in the forward section. The hull is developing magma fractures. Another direct hit to that area and we'll lose everything forward of Frame 60. Frame 60 included the bridge and included Thorne. "Understood. Can you reinforce the structure?" "Maybe, but I'd need to reroute power from life support and artificial gravity." "We're talking about total environmental shutdown for Sections A through D. Sections A through D. Navigation, communications, secondary weapons control, and 206 crew members. Mathematics again. How long for reinforcement?" 4 hours of work, minimum, and that's if we don't take any more hits. 4 hours without life support. The crew in those sections would asphyxiate slowly, carbon dioxide poisoning setting in as their recycled air became toxic. But the ship would hold together long enough to keep fighting. "Execute the plan. Emergency seal Sections A through D." "Sir." "Izikuchi." Warning. Lights bathed the bridge in crimson as blast doors slammed shut throughout the forward sections. Thorne could hear the atmospheric processes winding down, their familiar hum fading to silence. 206 crew members would spend the next 4 hours dying by degrees. They would remain at their posts until the end, following training and discipline even as their bodies betrayed them, professional to the last breath. Reinforcement complete in 4 hours, 17 minutes. Dalton confirmed that the alien wave struck like a hammer blow. Retribution bucked and twisted as energy beams carved molten channels through her armor. One shot punched through the forward torpedo bay, touching off a chain reaction that sent Lieutenant Commander Pierce's body spinning past the viewport in 3 separate pieces. The ship's artificial gravity fluctuated wildly. Loose objects became projectiles. A data pad caught Ensign Roberts across the temple, opening a gash that bled freely in the shifting gravity field. Roberts wiped the blood from his eyes and continued working his console. No one offered medical attention. There wasn't time. "Hull breach on Deck 12, Reeves announced. "Emergency teams responding." Through the internal communications, Thorne could hear Chief Petty Officer Sanders directing damage control. The man's voice was steady, professional, even as he coordinated repairs around floating corpses and expanding structural damage. "Good crew. They deserved better than this, but deserving and getting were different calculations entirely." "Sir," Blake said, "I'm detecting movement in the debris field. The aliens are. They're doing something to our dead." On the main display, enhanced imagery showed alien ships extending organic tendrils toward the floating remains of human crew. The tendrils wrapped around bodies, drawing them into specialized chambers within the alien hulls. Feeding they were, feeding on human dead. Several bridge crew made involuntary sounds of revulsion. Thorne felt nothing. The dead were dead. What happened to them afterward was tactically irrelevant. "Blake, do the feeding ships show reduced combat effectiveness?" "Sir, are they distracted while they feed? Less responsive to threats?" Blake consulted his displays. "Yes, sir. Response time is down approximately 40% during feeding cycles." Useful information. Thorne filed it away for future tactical application. The alien ships continued their assault, each wave more coordinated than the last. They had studied human defensive patterns and adapted their approach accordingly. Where earlier attacks had then direct frontal assaults. They now used complex orbital mechanics to attack from multiple vectors simultaneously. Retribution's guns swiveled continuously, tracking targets that appeared and disappeared like ghosts. The ship's ammunition reserves dropped steadily. 70%. 60-50. Captain, Reeves called out. Priority message from the heavy cruiser Intrepid. They've lost main power and life support. Captain Williams is requesting permission to ram the nearest alien formation. A suicide run. Captain Williams had 600 crew members and a ship massing 40,000 tons. At full acceleration, Intrepid could take out perhaps a dozen alien ships before breaking apart. The mathematics were favorable. Tell Captain Williams permission granted. Godspeed. Asterisk on the tactical display, Intrepid's icon began moving toward the alien formation at maximum acceleration. Her remaining engines burned white-hot, pushing the damaged ship beyond safe operational limits. The alien ships tried to evade, but Williams had chosen his vector carefully. Intrepid plowed into their formation like a battering ram, her armored prow crushing organic hulls in brilliant explosions. 11 alien ships died in the collision. Intrepid came apart like a broken toy, her crew compartments venting atmosphere and bodies into space. 600 human lives for 11 alien ships. Acceptable ratio, sir, Blake reported. Sensors show the alien main fleet has divided into 3 formations. They're planning a coordinated assault. Thorne studied the tactical display. The mathematics were becoming impossible now. Even with optimal crew performance and maximum weapon efficiency, Retribution couldn't survive a 3-pronged attack from superior numbers. Time for the final calculation. Engineering, prepare the reactor for emergency overload. Sir, that will destroy the ship and everything within a 1,000-kilometer radius. I'm aware of the consequences. Dalton's voice carried a note of something that might have been relief. Overload sequence ready, Captain. Authorization required for final initiation. Thorne's thumb found the reactor overload control. A simple toggle switch, red plastic worn smooth by countless drills. Strange that something so small could end so many lives. Time to alien fleet contact. 6 hours, 14 minutes. 6 hours to position Retribution for maximum damage. To draw as many alien ships as possible into the blast radius. All hands, Thorne announced shipwide, prepare for final engagement. We will hold this position until relieved. No one asked when relief would arrive. They all knew it wouldn't. The crew worked with grim efficiency, preparing weapons, systems, and damage control protocols they would never use. In the sealed sections, men and women continued dying from oxygen deprivation, their final breaths forming ice crystals that sparkled in the emergency lighting, beautiful in its way. The alien formations closed distance methodically, their organic ships pulsing with bioluminescent patterns that suggested anticipation. They knew this was the endgame. They could taste victory in the vacuum, but they hadn't calculated for human mathematics. For the cold logic of mutual annihilation, sir, Reeves said quietly. Message from Admiral Harrison. Fleet Command wants to know if we require additional support. Thorne almost smiled. Additional support, as if there were reserves hidden somewhere, waiting for the right moment to intervene. Send reply. Negative support required. Mission proceeding as planned. Another lie. But lies were just another form of mathematics now. Variables in the equation of survival. The first alien formation entered weapons range. Retributions, guns, open fire. Each shot lighting space with controlled fury. 2 alien ships died immediately, their bioholes rupturing in cascades of organic matter, but the others kept coming. Energy beams lanced across the void, punching through weakened armor. The ship groaned around them, her superstructure finally beginning to fail after 42 hours of continuous punishment. Asterisk hull breach. Main engineering, Dalton reported, we've lost primary reactor containment. I'm switching to emergency power. Emergency power meant basic life support and weapons only. No propulsion, no enhanced shields, no tactical systems. They were a fixed target now, waiting for the mathematics to reach their inevitable conclusion. Time to reactor overload capability. 37 minutes, sir. 37 minutes to draw in as many alien ships as possible. Thorne consulted his tactical display, calculating optimal positioning for maximum destructive effect. The alien main fleet appeared on the horizon like a plague swarm. 4,000 ships moving in perfect coordination, their bioluminescent hulls creating a deadly aurora against the star field. Beautiful and terrible. All stations, Thorne announced. Final engagement commencing. It has been an honor serving with you. The bridge crew straightened at their posts. Reeves checked her communications board one last time. Blake verified targeting solutions for weapons they might never fire. Professional to the end. The alien fleet accelerated toward them, and Captain Marcus Thorne began his final calculation. How many enemy ships could one dying dreadnought take with it? The mathematics would be perfect.
Welcome, traveler. We're glad you're here. Every story you hear is made with care and passion. If you enjoy it, please like, subscribe, and check out the other adventures waiting for you on our channel. Your support means the world. Thank you. We hope you enjoy the story.
Humanity Galactic Frontiers, all rights reserved. This video and its contents are protected under international copyright law. Any unauthorized copying, distribution, or re-uploading is strictly prohibited without written permission. If you enjoyed this journey, please like the video and subscribe for more stories from the edge of the galaxy. Thanks for watching, and stay curious out there among the stars.